By intentionality, we mean that the person's behavior is driven by a goal, is voluntary. I might desire some drink because I'm thirsty, but I have no intention to go to the fridge and act and get a drink. Myself in my laboratory, I've done a bit of this, but I'll tell you briefly. For example, if you take, you present to a 6-month-old, these tests are done live. Usually you have a puppet theater, a stage, and you show the child a person appearing on the stage, and let's say she has 2 objects in front of her, a ball and a teddy bear. She is reaching toward the ball. So the baby watch, and we're recording visual attention, eye movement. The baby's watching, the hand grasping the toy. After a few repetitions, a curtain comes down, and now we switch the location of the objects. The next phase, the baby see the person reaching at the same location, but now it was the ball that is replaced by the teddy bear. They're surprised. They see that she changed her goals. And when she's reaching for the same goal at a new location, they look less longer. So this is evidence that they already understand that she had the goal, the desire, the intention to reach that object. If she just put her hands without a grasping gesture, just touching, they don't think this is actually intentionality. So they look equally when she's reaching or touching a new goal or an old goal. So that's 6-month-old. That already at 6 months of age. A few months later, they don't need to see the person reaching, just looking. So this proximal, what we say proximal is touching, distal is just looking, is now sufficient for them to understand. I'm talking about 10-month-old. In my own laboratory, we have shown this. At 10 months, I look, and then I look at a new object at the same place. The baby look longer at you because they say, oh, that's not what she intended to look at. So that's 10 months. A few months later, very soon, around 12, 14 months, other more even sophisticated understanding of intentionality can be demonstrated. For example, in my laboratory, I've done a study where we present infants with a set of devices, some little toys, and we act on one, let's say a button. We push the button with a smile, say, with the sound there, with an expression of satisfaction. The other is a dial. The other device is a dial. We turn the dial and say, oops, and then look like we did accidentally. Then we push the box toward the child. What do baby do? We look, are they gonna try to imitate my first action, the intentional action, both action? In fact, what you observe is that they're gonna do both. They cannot resist doing both. It's too tempting. They like to touch. But they'll do first the intentional action. Okay, so they'll do the one when you say there, and that's systematic. Another way to show this is that you present babies with a toy, an attractive toy, and you approach the toy toward the child, you move the toy toward the child. As soon as the child tries to reach it, you take it away. So you're teasing the child, you're unwilling. Versus another condition, you offer the toy, but we drop it, you're clumsy. Each time, you're unable. Unwilling, my intention is not a good one. I'm unwilling to give it to you. Or unable, I want to give it to you, but I'm not successful. So babies actually become very impatient when I'm unwilling, but they're tolerant and patient when I'm unable. They wait and smile and say, oh. Infants are attentive to what mommy and daddy look at, what mommy and daddy touch as they speak. So the language is coming in parallel or simultaneously. Parents do action. So they look at an object when they say, ah, that's a ball. Look at the ball. They're looking in the book. They're looking at the real ball. So in other words, what it means is that children will be able to detect that words refer to objects and actions, not only objects, but action. So if mommy is talking on the phone and saying blah, 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 and say ball a few times, if baby doesn't know what a ball is, they'll look at her face. We have done this research, see where she's looking, and she's not looking at anything special. They don't think the ball is anything. So that's the foundation for language acquisition. And also, because babies interact with human beings and not with robots, for example, my own laboratory, we have found that when a robot is trying to teach a new word to babies, the robot might be looking and say, ball, ball, and babies will actually follow the gaze of the robot, because that robot had bigger eyes than human beings actually. Follow the gaze, but when he says ball, 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 baby did not learn the word ball from the robot. They only follow the gaze, but when we test where's the ball later, they were confused. When it was a human speaker, they knew which one. Well, of course, we didn't use ball because they knew those words. We knew novel object, we call it DAX. And they learned the word from the human speaker, but not the robot speaker. So all of this was a bit later when they were about 16, 18 months, but they could do this because they had built up interaction with human beings and they had been watching them interacting with objects, and they know that if mommy looks there, that means this is the name for this object. The conclusion you can draw from what I just said is that already their babies paying attention to their behavior, and they see in their action that they are intending to do certain things and not others. And they analyze their behavior in that sense and kind of decompose their action in terms of whether this was meant to be or not. And this is going to be very important for what comes later, like language development. They understand that looking there means, when I say DAX, when I say ball, a new name, that she means this, not this, because she's looking there. Mommy's looking there. So that's like the foundation for what we call referential intention, the intention to label things in a certain way and not others.